Yes, what is good, my people? Welcome back to, I guess we're going to call this the Wednesday show, I guess, the part two edition. Welcome to part two of Weekly Homework Podcast 119. And I know I said 118 a couple of times throughout the previous podcast, but it is 119 this week, and this is part number two. And once again, I'm recording on Wednesday, and I have a cat in my lap. What's up, man? Cat, 2-0, he comes in here, he hangs with me. So I'm like, all right, cool. If you're going to be in here, you're going to be part of the show. Anyhow, welcome to part two. And I just said that. Why are we having a part two again, Tashir? Things happen. And if you watched part one, you understand why I have a part two, at least for one thing that's going down. But in the case that you missed episode 119, part one, I'm going to leave an annotation up there. And you're going to be able to get the link down below as well to go watch the previous edition of this. And, you can come back and watch this later or watch this first and go back there. However you want to do it. But welcome. Thanks for playing the video. Thanks for hanging in with me. So, for those of you who actually saw part one, it was a great show. I have to say it was possibly, in matter of fact, I'm just going to go out on a limb and say it was the best show we've had this year. And that's not taking anything away from anybody else or any other show that we've had so far. But I think it was possibly the best show we've had thus far this year, 2016. So props to everybody that participated for that. But anyhow, we kicked off the show with a man by the name of Dixie Freely, and his submission cut off at 1 minute and 30 seconds. And don't know what happened because my file, I re-downloaded it and it was still 1 minute 30. I did that while I was actually on the podcast. Still 1 minute 30. He actually sent me the full one. So we got that going on. And then we had another CMA member who was just having some problems this weekend. And, despite doing whatever he could to get his assignment in on time, it just did not work. And he actually just turned it in anyhow, even though I had already recorded the podcast at that point. He had turned in his assignment just to say, hey, I did it. I'm finished. Here you go. So we're going to play those two in this particular episode. Let's kick things off first and get to hear this full song from my man, Dixie Freely. Yes, yes. St. Louis represent my man Dixie Freely. Finally presenting his full composition, his full submission for episode 119. Not bad at all. I like that joint. I love it. I love it, man. It sounds damn good. And, the assignment was, it's called Don't Look Back. And the assignment was to create at least 4 patterns or sequences or sections of the song, and not to repeat any of the ones that you used previous, at least 4. And he actually pointed it out, and I hear it now, that he did use the hook again. But I think you still actually had it. I mean, yeah, he repeated the hook, which, they call that the refrain. It meaning that it repeats, basically. It comes back in another part of the song. That's normally how that goes. But he had nice little intro, nice little build up to the verse. Then he actually had the hook. Then right after where it broke down last time, actually had a nice little joint where it broke down entirely, and it was just some instrumental elements, and it was a little bit more after that with another pattern, and then it built back up to the hook. Very, very, very dope, my man. And again, the mix on this joint, very dope. I like the instruments you use. I especially like the drums, and they knock. And he did say that he used the Eventide Harmonizer 910, the drum thickener preset for the drums. So for anybody that's interested in having drums like Dixie Freely, hopefully we can make that a thing with CMA people. Well, if you want to have drums like this guy, but yeah, very dope, my man. Very dope. And I'm glad we got an opportunity to hear the entire thing and present it to the world. So thank you for actually sending that in, my man. Nice work. Very nice work. And coming up to a gentleman that didn't get a chance to make it into this week's podcast. And like I said, had a bunch of different issues, but he did finish his submission. He did turn it in, even though it was, on Monday, but he just said, screw it, I wanted to turn it in. And what's funny is I'm looking at the title of the song, which is called Determination, which I don't know if that was if that was previous, that was like that beforehand, or if he was like determined to get it done so he can turn it in. So, ladies and gentlemen, presenting his submission for 119, my man, Sho-Nuff. Gentlemen, closing out week 119 of the weekly homework assignment / podcast. Sho-Nuff. Detroit represent. You know what? I feel that Sho can do no wrong. Sho is a true musician, a multi-instrumentalist. Instrumentalist. There we go. This dude plays a little bit of everything. Keys, I believe drums. I know definitely guitar and bass. You know, he lays his own stuff down at times. But not only that, this dude can do like multiple styles of music. I mean, we've seen Sho do hip hop. He's done like a house or like a techno track, at least Detroit techno. And we do a bunch of different stuff anyway, but he's the one that can literally do jazz and all this other stuff. And then this dude comes back and knocks down some dubstep. And it wasn't necessarily a dubstep song, but he had those elements at the right tempo and just killed this submission, man. All the different change-ups and the right instruments for the dubstep side of it. But then he had kind of the soulful or jazz side of it as well. Sickening, dude. Plenty of change-ups, I should say different sections and sequences. Great mix, great sequencing, use of the instruments that he did choose. I love the instruments. I loved everything about it. And I'm glad he got it in. Thank you. That gave us a reason to do a part 2. And I kind of like these part 2s. I don't know if I'm going to do it all the time, but when we do it, it's going to be special, I guess. We're going to have a purpose in doing it. But yeah, this was very cool, my man. So shout out to Sho-Nuff and Dixie Freely for forcing a part 2 this week. And I don't know, we may figure out something to where we can do something like this more often. I don't know. Maybe depending on, because now we are getting longer episodes and there's actually double the amount of work that actually goes into creating this, but I'm not complaining. But maybe if it gets to a point to where there's too many, maybe we do have to split it up. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. If it's something that you would like to see, leave a comment down below on CMA or on YouTube, however. But yeah, I really enjoyed these 2 submissions, enjoyed all the rest of the submissions this week. Shout out to everybody that participated. Shout out to everybody that's at CMA, whether you're participating in the weekly homework assignment or not. And shout out to all of you, the watchers, the listeners, the people who support us and hang with us every single week. If you would like to be a part of what we do, come on over to computermusicacademy.com and join us. It is that simple. Don't forget to hit the like button on the way out. Share it, show your people, tell them what we're doing over here and what you're enjoying every week. And that's it. All right, now I'm done for the week. Enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll talk to you next time. See ya.